Okay, so the first thing I have to do today is apologize. Why am I apologizing? I said yesterday when I did my deal that I was going to talk today on assessing value. Well, it turns out there was another subject that was in between the two that I didn't notice was there. I'd written a very small amount of notes on it, and it made it so that it was sort of went unnoticed. But what I really want to talk about today is a subject of long and short. Okay, that's what I want to talk about today on the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I am your host. I'm Kurt. I'm glad to have you here today, whether on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube, or for that matter, anywhere else that you can manage to pick me up. Thank you for being here again. Today is Wednesday, the 14th of April of 2021. I periodically say again because I record a little thing for the end when I do my videos that has the date in it, and I the two kind of merge right in my mind. So, but anyway, it is today, Wednesday, the 14th of April of 2021. And again, we're going to be talking about the subject of long and short. Now, I'm going to do what I have a habit of doing a lot of times, and I'm going to read a little bit from my notes. I said, if you do long-term things or near-term things with an aim towards accomplishing some end, and the things you do keep you from long-term accomplishments, whether or not of the same sort, are you really doing yourself any favors in doing the short-term things? And the answer, by the way, sometimes can be yes. But a lot of the time the answer is no. I really believe the answer is no. As an example, say you use CrossFit to supposedly, quote, get healthy, end of quote. But in the process, you cause yourself potentially irreparable damage that keeps you from long-term well-being. Was that really helpful? Was it? So, Marjorie Taylor Greene, now in Congress in the United States, seems like an okay person, has apparently done some things that were not so bright in past. Who of us hasn't? So that's not really saying very much. Okay, it may have been a little closer, more recent past for her. That may be true. I don't know. I would still say that every one of us, as I've said before, is definitely subject to the concept of redemption, right? We all have the ability to redeem ourselves and become something meaningful and worthwhile. And that includes anybody who's liberal, anybody who's conservative. I don't care where you are on the scale. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is a CrossFit fanatic, which, by the way, most of the people I know who do CrossFit are CrossFit fanatics. And the thing about it is she posted a video of herself doing CrossFit. And I watched what she did and I thought to myself, it's going to take one time for you to tear a ligament. Or worse yet, you're going to gradually tear a ligament over the course of time and not realize that you've done it. And you're going to make it so that your long-term gains are not going to be there, even though what's happened for you in the short term has seemed like a really good thing. This is very analogous where life is concerned with just about everything. If you do stupid things in the short term, bad things in the short term, even if they seem like good ones, okay, the chances are that in the long term, you're actually going to end up suffering the consequences for the errors that you made in those short-term decisions. In the case of Marjorie Taylor Greene, I would tell her one simple thing, and she can do with this what she wants. Look, let's get one thing perfectly plain. Does she have the right to do CrossFit? Absolutely. Is it possible she may do that for a good part of her life and never injure herself or hurt herself in any way, and she may end up being better off as a result? Yeah, that's absolutely possible. On the other hand, I'm getting older, and what I've learned is that there are things that I did when I was younger that I'm paying for now. And let me just tell you something. Some of those things I didn't think were going to be things for me to pay for, right? So I hurt something, and I thought, well, yeah, that'll heal itself and get better over the course of time. And here's the thing. In the short term, it appeared like that was exactly what happened. I managed to damage a thumb when I was working many years ago, more than 25 years ago now, I think, in a gas station. And I damaged a thumb. There was a bottle that fell. I tried to catch the bottle. My thumb caught on the shelf that the bottle would ostensibly have been on, and I damaged my thumb. And periodically to this day, that thumb will twinge, and I know exactly where that came from. And I can just tell you that that's true for lots of things that have happened in my life. Not a huge number, but enough. And I'm a pretty careful person. And the older I've got, the more careful I've become. But I'm sure at some point I'll start feeling my left knee again because I started stressing it more than I needed to by running 3 miles a day. Okay. That was all it took, was for me to run with a bad gait, a sufficiently bad gait, 3 miles a day. And the next thing you know, I'm feeling my knee when I get up and down. Now, recently, I haven't noticed it, but I have a feeling it's going to come back to haunt me later on. I tried, as soon as I started to notice that I was stressing that knee, to stop. That's what I try to do. I'll just tell you that now. But this is true for financial things. This is true for getting into arguments and fights with people. This is true for saying things that are wrong, bad, and stupid. In fact, many people are seeing that come back to haunt them now, Marjorie Taylor Greene being among them. Whether or not she actually said something that was wrong, bad, or stupid, I've never seen. I don't know. I can't answer that. But certainly a lot of people seem to think that that's true. And that's coming back to haunt her. And it's worse now than ever, because now a lot of that stuff gets recorded for posterity and everybody sees it. You can be a nobody and everybody will see that. That will come back to haunt you later on. So the question, the simple question that I have for you, I'm going to ask it again. If you do near-term things with an aim towards accomplishing some end, and the things you do keep you from long-term accomplishments, whether the same sort of thing or not, are you really doing yourself any, quote, favors, end of quote, in doing the short-term things? And again, the answer to that can be yes. You may save yourself from substantial heart disease later on by what you do, doing CrossFit or whatever, while at the same time tearing ligaments in your shoulders or elbows or knees, or messing up your hips. Well, you at least saved yourself from the heart disease, and that probably will keep you alive. But the fact of the matter is, if you did yourself harm in some other way in the process, I'm pretty sure the truth is you'd have still been better off doing something else to save yourself from heart disease. Okay? And this doesn't take a genius to figure out. So I urge you to be more about your long-term gains than about the short-term ones. I've heard so many people say that folks get in the stock market and they knee-jerk to the fact that a stock goes down. And I'm not saying that every stock that goes down has to come back up again. But I'm saying that the idea that a stock takes a dive even isn't necessarily a sign that that stock is not going to perform well in the future. You have to do some other things. You have to do some research. And one of the more important things is to not knee-jerk. Here's the thing. Even if a stock dumps, okay, there'll be many instances where it'll at least come up some so that you can recoup some of your losses in the course of time. Maybe it won't. That's possible. You may lose more. It may get worse, right? It can get pretty bad. But my point is that as a rule, if you look at the short term of things and don't pay attention to what's going on in the long term, you're going to suffer the consequences in the long term. There's virtually no way to get around that. And this is what I'm trying to talk about when I talk about long and short. When you take a short-term approach to life, you will find yourself often in positions where you look back and you go, why did I do that? Why on earth did I do that? If you take a long-term approach, sometimes you're still going to have that happen. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that taking a long-term approach will always make it so you'll get the right answer. What happens when things don't work at all like you expect them to? What happens, right? So there's a possibility that even taking a long-term approach, things aren't going to work out well for you. But I'll say this right now. If you take a short-term approach, I can't tell you how many times, if your approach is bad, what it will do is have horrible effects on the long term of your life. So here's my message to you. And I think I finally got Mr. Bongino's deal, which is tell him what you're going to tell him, and then tell him what you told him. So I'm telling you what I've told you. Instead of concentrating on short-term gains, I'm not saying don't pay attention to short-term gains. I'm saying don't concentrate on them. Concentrate on long-term gains using the short-term gains to come to that place. All right, I'm about out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. As I say, we've talked about about the long and short today. Today is Wednesday, the 14th of April, 2021. This is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. I'm glad you've stuck through the entire video. Remember, you can like the video on YouTube and you can give me a positive rumble on Rumble if you enjoy it and see it there. Tomorrow will be Thursday, the 15th of April of 2021, Tax Day. And tomorrow's subject is going to be assessing value, the one that I told people that I was going to be discussing today in air. And again, I apologize for that. I hope you're having a good day today. It is cool and it is wet here in the area that I currently live in. But it's still a reasonably nice day, and I hope that you're having a good day as well. And hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Wednesday, the 14th of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.